Let's talk about Pandita Ramabai. She was Indian social reformer and Sanskrit scholar and champion of women's rights, known for her work in women education, emancipation, and social activism during the late 19th and 20th century. She was born on 23rd of April 1858 to a Marathi Brahmin family in present day Karnataka. If we talk about social reform and contribution she made, so she received the title Pandita from where? Who gave her this title Pandita? Arushi?
So I don't know.
She received the title Pandita from Calcutta University, and she received the title Saraswati for her knowledge of religious text. Am I not audible?
No, sir.
Am I audible or not?
Audible, no, sir.
ठीक ठीक ठीक. Okay. And she married to Bipin Behari Medvi in an intercaste civil ceremony, an extremely bold move for that era. After her husband's death, Ramabai established the what she established? Anyone? Ekta? Our Mahila Samaj in Pune to advance women's education and fight oppressive traditions such as child marriage and widowhood. She later founded the Sharda Sadan, Home for Learning, and the Mukti Mission. It's Home for Learning and Mukti Sadan, providing shelter, education, and vocational training to widows, orphans, and destitute women. So, can you please tell me the year she founded Arya Mehla Samaj, then Sarda Sadan, and Mukti Sadan?
आर्य महिला समाज सर
18?
1881.
Pakka?
Yes, sir.
Jaya, what about Sharda Sadan?
Sir, 1889.
1889. And what about Mukti Sadan?
1889.
1880?
9.
Pakka?
Yes, sir.
आपने चेक किया कि ऐसी आपको याद है?
पढ़ा था सर कल।
80 90 है या 80 89?
नोट्स से वही सर टेस्ट सीरीज से पढ़ा था तो उसमें 1889 ही था।
अच्छा, आर्य महिला समाज 1881 and in 1889 मुक्ति सदन and शारदा सदन. Okay. Just confirm the year, that's all, because it should not be incorrect. Yeah. So she died uh, as I told you that she received this title Pandita from the Calcutta University for her intellectual and Sanskrit expertise, and also in 1919 she receives the Kaisar-e-Hind medal. In 1919 she receives Kaisar-e-Hind medal, and she is honored with a feast day in USA, and she also authored a number of books that depicted the difficult lives of women, including child. Uh, Caesar, Kaisar-e-Hind and Caesar-e-Hind, do you think both are same? I don't know. I don't think so. Caesar is a different thing. She learned 18,000 Purans verses by the time she was 12 years old, and she also studied Bengali, Hindi, Kannada, and Marathi. And her mother was Lakshmi Bai, and her father Anand Shastri was an educated Brahmin. That's all about her. Anything else anybody wants to add?
So she wrote a book called The High Caste Hindu Women.
What's the name?
The High Caste Hindu Women.
High caste Hindu women. Yeah, one more thing, that she converted to Christianity during her time in England and never hid her faith, even as she continued her social work in India. Her maybe another book is Stri Dharma. Stri Dharma Niti, 1882, and this The High Caste Hindu Women in 1887. So this high caste women exposed the oppression of women in Hindu society, and she translated religious and educational texts into Marathi and Hindi to increase accessibility for Indian women. Uh, that's all about her. Anything else, if anyone wants to add? All right. So now let's talk about the next question is about National Disaster Risk Management Fund. National Disaster Risk Management Fund. Who is going to explain? Uh, Arushi?
So National Disaster Risk Management Fund was recommended by 15th Finance Commission. That's all I know.
Anything else?
So basically, it is having two components. It addresses both the problem of proactive mitigation and reactive response. The response component gets 80% of the funding, and the mitigation component gets 20% of the funding, and they also accept voluntary donations from individuals and organizations.
How many of you have gone through the solution of this first history? How many questions? Arushi, how many questions?
Sir, I'm covering with you like five, after the class I read extra 5 questions.
Okay, so haven't you seen that there were issues in the solution? 31, 32, 33.
So actually, yesterday I didn't read because I was in the hospital.
Gyandeep?
Sir, I have gone through about 60 or 55 questions.
Yeah, so I'm talking about question number 31, 32, 33.
31, 32, 33. So, what is the issue, sir, you are talking about?
Like question is different and solution is different. 31.
Actually, sir, so on that note, I'd like to say, so earlier, basically, you used to send solutions in one PDF, and test questions we used to get in, like during the test, which only had questions. So earlier, the solution PDF used to only have solutions without questions. So this one in first history test, actually the solutions along with questions are provided. So naturally, I did not open the question PDF separately, assuming that the questions are there only. So maybe that is the apparent solution also. So like sir, if in first political test, so
No,
the solution
in this
PDF,
this particular it has problem. Okay, and
Acha.
lot many questions are having problem. Like the
Miss,
question.
you talk about misalignment.
No, so question number 38, solution is written in question number 40. Okay.
Sir, in my PDF I'm seeing that 38 talks about slavery, and the solution is also talking about slavery. If we are talking about question 38 only, sir, so it is talking about slavery, and even the solution is talking about slavery. I have underlined things here.
Oh, yes, yes. Now I remember. Actually, before that I sent a file that was incorrect file.
Yeah. This is probably the revised file I'm looking at.
Yes, yes. Then I sent revised PDF. Now I remember this. All right. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That one file I was looking at for questions, and I was like, what is this? And no one has. But in. 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 Can you look at? Can you send me Gandhi this file? How come I'm having
Sir,
wrong file?
which one? The right file I'm only having.
Yeah, can you send me
I'll
on Telegram?
just 1 second, sir.
Bun HY,
The
right?
Telegram number I have not saved. Telegram.
Wait.
Can I send you on WhatsApp?
Sir, I have copied. I will share it within a minute.
Just give me a moment. Just give me a moment. Don't send now. I'm looking at another file. Yeah, this one is okay. I was also looking at wrong file and then I was like, no one has pointed out how come it's possible. Yeah, yesterday I asked tobacco and potato. So, Komal, tell me who introduced tobacco and potato in India?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
What was the question?
Who introduced tobacco and potato in India?
Uh, Portuguese?
Yeah. Yeah, so we were talking about National Disaster Risk Management Fund. So basically, 15th Finance Commission recommended for the creation of National Disaster Risk Management Fund and State Disaster Risk Management Fund. This National Disaster Risk Management covers both disaster mitigation and disaster response. All right, and NDRF 80% of the funding, and so National Disaster Response Fund gets 80% funding, and mitigation gets 20% of the funding. Gandhi, what do you think about it? Maybe this can be a question or potential question, or maybe this is it can be it is one of the biggest issue. That's what I can see. So, what do you think that disaster mitigation is getting just 20% and disaster response is getting 80%? So, are we waiting for the disaster or havoc to come and then respond?
That is what it looks like, sir. I mean, while response would usually require more funds, I accept that because there's a higher level of damage and there is obviously some level of desperation.
Yeah, but it
the
shows.
disaster comes.
But it,
then preparedness,
yeah,
if we
exactly.
invest more prepared, then like they say, prevention is better than cure. So it should not be 80-20, could be at least like 60-40.
Yeah, exactly. Because it shows that you are waiting that let disaster come, then we'll respond. So there are no mitigation steps, no preparedness, hardly anything. You
Correct.
see, every year we are seeing havoc in Uttarakhand and Himachal Pradesh. Now it's coming to Punjab. So
On that, sir, there was a very good article I had read in the Hindu, I think it was last month. It talked about a very logical point. It said that, see, every time something like a cloudburst happens in states like Himachal or Uttarakhand, so the media and the government keeps, repeating the same word. It is a cloudburst, and the way this, the way this word is used by the media, it looks like the government is totally helpless. See, this is a natural, this is a God's punishment.
Yeah.
It is only a natural disaster. Government could have not done anything, which is not the case.
But don't you see that these what cloudbursts are becoming very frequent? And in 10 years ago, 10 years back, hardly any cloudburst or anything. But in last 10 years, it is Amarnath, it is Uttarakhand again and again. Now it's in Himachal Pradesh again and again. So it has become quite frequent.
Yes, sir.
So maybe
Frequencies is much.
we are responsible for it because we know the science behind it, and we are not taking the steps. Obviously, there will be frequent cloudburst and uh, these kind of natural disaster. So basically, these are human induced natural disaster. That's what I call.
Very well said, sir.
Yeah, so I was talking about NDRF and ND National Disaster Risk Management Fund. That's what we were discussing, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so it's for funding disaster response and mitigation activities at the national level, established to streamline both immediate relief and long-term disaster risk reduction efforts. I have already told you that it's recommended by the 15th Finance Commission. Which article talks about Finance Commission, Jaya?
Sir, Article 280.
Article 280. Okay, and who was the head of 15th Finance Commission? N.K. Singh. 15th Finance Commission 2021-22 to 2025-2026. Okay, and it was headed by N.K. Singh. So as I told you that this fund has two components: National Disaster Response Fund, 80% funding, and National Disaster Mitigation Fund, 20% funding. All right. Apart from that, just response, immediate relief, shelter, food, medical, post disaster, and if we talk about mitigation, so projects focused on reducing disaster risks such as flood control, landslide prevention, and forest fire management, and supporting local government in risk assessment and planning. I can tell you this 20% 20% का पूरा पैसा खा ही रहे होंगे लोग फालतू के प्रोजेक्ट बना बना के हार्डली एनीथिंग ऑन द ग्राउंड इस सब मिलके जो है 20% जो पैसा होगा एक चुपचाप खा जाते होंगे मुश्किल से 2% यूज होता होगा
Sir, that is why I feel जो mitigation के लिए amount दिया जाता है, that is a little lesser than the response, so that the state government does not consume most of it.
So subsidiary alliance we have already discussed, right, Gyandeep?
Yes, sir. We have discussed
So
that.
we are not going to discuss subsidiary alliance. Tell me, Jaya, who introduced subsidiary alliance?
Some Lord Wellesley.
Okay, year. Around 1798. And Gyandeep, quickly explain this. What was the main purpose?
Sir,
Just
the subsidiary alliance, sir?
No, I just want to know the main purpose. So tell me the main purpose.
Of subsidiary alliance, right? So, sir, the main purpose was to somehow subjugate in Indian kingdoms and Indian rulers, but in a very diplomatic way, by stationing their residents and their forces, and in turn making the Indian rulers only pay for their maintenance. There was a secondary reason also. They wanted to insulate Indian rulers from having any access to the French counterparts of the British East India Company, and basically, which is why they also said that you cannot communicate or wage war against any neighboring kingdoms.
Okay. All right. So basically, to expand the British Empire in India by bringing new territories under its control, and also to decrease the French influence so that the British could become the paramount power in India. Yeah, and there are a few more policies. That is the ring fence policy. Who introduced this ring fence policy?
Warren Hastings.
Okay. Okay, so I'll tell you the difference between state PCS and UPSC. State PCS, they'll give you ring fence policy, Warren Hastings. Then they'll give you this subsidiary alliance, Belizali. Then they'll give you this doctrine of lapse, Dalhousie. This is state PCS typical question. Okay, UPSC can also ask if they have to make easy question, but generally UPSC won't ask this question. Okay, it is state PCS question. Now, what UPSC will do? UPSC will ask about ring fence policy. Maybe it will give one statement about ring fence policy, one statement about subsidiary alliance, and it would want to know whether you know this concept in bit detail or not. All right, but what state PCS state PCS wants to know that whether you know who introduced it or not. That's all. So if you are preparing for any state PCS, just remember these small facts, and it will help you. Whosoever is preparing for state PCS, because many people must be giving state this UPPCS, right? Anyone appearing in state UPPCS or Bihar PCS? Okay. Ekta. Alright. So this policy of ring fence, it was introduced by Warren Hastings, implemented at a critical period of British rule when the British were to encounter the powerful combination of the Maratha, Mysore and Hyderabad. It was aimed at creating buffer zone to defend the company's frontiers, and it was the policy of defense of their neighbors frontier for safeguarding their own territories. Doctrine of lapse, you already know, so I'm not going to tell you about it. We have already discussed doctrine of lapse, and if I have to talk about some significant events during the tenure of Lord Wellesley. So Lord Wellesley 1798 to 1805. Introduction of subsidiary alliance. (1798). Nizam of Hyderabad was the first one to accept this alliance. Then fourth Mysore War 1799. Here Tipu Sultan died. Second Maratha War 1803 to 1805, and then he took over the administration of Tanjore 1799, Surat 1800, and Carnatic 1801. Then Treaty of Basai. What is this Treaty of Basai? Anyone? We have discussed this, so that's why I am asking. Arushi, are you going to explain it?
Yes, sir. So Treaty of Bassein was signed after Second Anglo-Maratha War, In this treaty, the Peshwa has agreed to surrender the city of Surat, and he has given some he has given all the claims for Chauth on Nizam's dominions, and he will receive company's native infantry also in this treaty.
All right. So it was a pact between whom? British East India Company and who are
Peshwa.
Peshwa who? Name of Peshwa.
It was Peshwa Bajirao too.
Yeah, Bajirao II of Maratha Empire. Signed on 31st December 1802 after the Battle of Pune. So Peshwa Bajirao II was defeated by Yaswantrao Holkar at Pune, promoting him to seek assistance for restoration to power. Then Maratha Confederacy faced internal instability with rival chiefs like Scindia and Holkar fighting for the dominance. Then the treaty marked a turning point in Indian history. It put the Marathas under British influence and led to further fragmentation of Maratha power. So Bajirao II agreed to maintain a British subsidiary force of about 6,000 troops, funding it by territorial revenues, and the Peshwa could not engage in other treaties or declare war without British consent. Then all foreign affairs and claims would be handled in consultation with the British authorities. Bajirao II renounced claim on Surat and Baroda, excluded Europeans from his service, and accepted British guidance for his government. So the treaty led to the restoration of Bajirao II as Peshwa, but under British protection in May 1803, making him a client ruler. And it triggered the Second Anglo Maratha War 1803 1805, as other Maratha chiefs opposed British intervention. Ultimately, the treaty facilitated the expansion and consolidation of British rule in Western India, weakening the Maratha Confederacy and accelerating the end of their sovereignty. So, this Treaty of Versailles is a pivotal event in modern India history and a notable example of the British subsidiary alliance policy. So, do you know about Chauth and Sardesh Mukhi? Anyone?
Sir, there were some taxes.
Taxes or extortion money?
Yeah, matlab, tax extortion money named in the form of taxes.
Yeah, that we will not raid you if you pay us. And
Correct.
so Britsers also, so this is also kind of extortion by the Britsers in the name of subsidiary alliance. Don't you think so? That the local ruler will be paying for everything for the protection.
Correct, sir.
Okay. Now let's talk about East India Company. We have already discussed. So I'm going to give you a brief very quickly. Mostly I'll be reading from this file itself because I have already explained East India Company we discussed. Basically East India Company had first set up its trading activities in the well-established port of Surat on the west coast. So East India and what about Portuguese? First factory of Portuguese? Anyone?
Surat.
In Surat? I'm asking about Portuguese.
So was it Calicut in 1500 or
Yes, yes, yes.
1501?
Yeah, 1501. Vasco da Gama came back and then he established factory in there. Okay. So, थोड़ा सा आप लोग याद रखो, ऐसे कल ही डिस्कस किया था हम लोगों ने इसको, कल या परसों डिस्कस किया था. So subsequently, the search for textile brought British merchant to the east coast. In 1639, they constructed a trade post in Madras Pattam. Then this settlement was locally known as Chennapatnam. The company had purchased the right of settlement from the local Telugu lords, the Nayak of Kalahasti, who were eager to support trading activities in the region. Where is Kalahasti? Anyone? Where is Kalahasti?
Tamil Nadu.
When I am saying Telugu lords, the Nayak of Kalahasti, so I am already saying Telugu. So it should be Andhra Pradesh or Telangana, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Because in Tamil Nadu you won't find hardly Telugu speaking people. They have Tamil language. So it's in Andhra Pradesh, around 40 kilometer from Tirupati, and it has a very famous temple, Shiva temple, that is known as Kalahasti temple itself. And those who are interested in Rahu Ketu puja, they can go there. अगर आपको राहु केतु ने घेर रखा है तो. Yeah. So rivalry 1746 around this period 1746 and 63, they were having rivalries with French East India Company, and that led the British to fortify Madras and give their representatives increased political and administrative function. With the defeat of French in 1761, Madras became more secure and began to grow into an important commercial town. It was here that the superiority of the British and subordinate position of the Indian merchants were most apparent. And if we talk about Fort St. George, so it is seen as the first English fortress in India. Fort St. George became the nucleus of White Town, where most of Europeans lived. Walls and bastions made this a distinct enclave. Color and religion determined who was allowed to live within the fort. The company did not permit any marriages with Indian. So, what's the difference between BIC, British East India Company, and Portuguese on the aspect of marriage? Jaya?
So Portuguese allowed marriages with Indians, and Britishers did not. But I'm not sure about the Dutch.
Yeah, and it's a kind of Indo-Portuguese community
Uh,
also.
Community was emerged from those marriages.
Yeah, exactly. So this is one of the difference. So if you have to write it in mains, you can write in the mains. See, that's the reason we discuss, because let's say we were discussing marriage there. Now we are discussing marriage. What was the opinion or what was the take of Britishers on marriage? So they didn't allow it, right? However, Portuguese allowed it. So you can, this is one clear cut difference between Portuguese and British. And the administrative and judicial system also favored the white population. And other than the English, the Dutch and Portuguese were allowed to stay here because they were European and Christian. Despite being few in number, the European worthy rulers and the developments of Madras followed the need of convenience of the minority whites in the town. Now let's talk about Fort William. It was built in 1696. And what about this Fort St. George? It's 1639, 1640. So obviously, if they ask about that Fort St. George was built earlier or Fort William, so the answer is Fort St. George. Yeah, now we were talking about Fort William. So the original Fort William was built in 1696 by the British East India Company, and it was rebuilt by Robert Clive after the Battle of Plassey in 1758. So initially it was built in 1696. Then again, after Battle of Plassey, that was in 1757. In 1758, again Fort William was built. So we'll talk about this one only. Fort William was completed in 1696 before Wellesley tenure 1798-1805, and the area known as Maidan or Brigade Parade Ground, the largest urban park in the city, consists of some of Calcutta's most iconic location, most notably the Victoria Memorial and St. Paul Cathedral. One thing I want to ask, so if you go to Chennai, if you go to Calcutta, if you go to Mumbai, you'll find a lot of British architecture, but you don't find hardly any in Delhi. What is the reason, Gyandeep?
Sir, basically, Mumbai, Chennai, and Kolkata were presidency towns, wherein initially for a very long time the Britishers were operating from. They had changed their capital from Kolkata to Delhi only when they had realized, I think around after the Bengal partition, that the Bengal, the
1911.
Bengal
1911.
1911, that the Bengali intellectuals and their conscience is not going to allow them to easily operate from Calcutta, so they naturally shifted their base from there to Delhi. Thereafter, when they were they built some architecture, wherein today we have these important buildings of the central government, but not throughout the town.
Basically Lutean zone.
Yeah, only the Lutean zone, the hill area.
Yeah. But you see in Mumbai, you'll find British architecture, Chennai, Calcutta. So basically, in Delhi, they were for very, in Mumbai and other port town. First thing that these port town serve the purpose of for their easy trading, right? So they were having harbor and ships were coming and going. So mostly they established in port town, and then Delhi was far away from the ocean. That is one reason. And second thing that you, as you said, that very lately they came to Delhi. So they came in 1911 and 1947. Before that only, it was clear cut that Britishers will be leaving. So hardly any construction, but they made their capital Shimla for some time, summer capital. So basically, you see some British architecture in Shimla. Very beautiful British architecture is there. Tell me one thing. आजकल जो हमारे यहाँ पुल बनते हैं, आपको how many of you, आप कोई ज्ञानदीप, आप कोई शिमला गया है टॉय ट्रेन में?
Not been to Shimla, sir. Been to Manali though.
Okay, so if you go to Shimla, so there's this Shimla, Kalka Shimla heritage train, and there are a lot of pull and lot of what you say, क्या बोलते हैं उसको? I'm not getting that word. जैसे आप जो ब्रिज, हाँ बहुत सारे ब्रिज, तो कब बनाई थी उन्होंने? 1900 के आसपास बनाई थी और आज तक चल रहा है, हार्डली एनी डैमेज. और हमारे यहाँ भी पुल बनते हैं तो बहुत जल्दी टूट ही जाते हैं, इनाग्रेशन से पहले ही टूट जाते हैं. सो what was the reason, and what is the reason, sorry, if we compare this infrastructure building from British colonial era to present, so that infrastructure is still intact, but the present day modern infrastructure we are constructing and it's getting damaged within a month or so. So what's the reason?
Sir, corruption would be one of the reasons, that is for sure. But apart from that, I had read about, there were two brothers in this construction industry. They had built some kind of a road in Pune or Mumbai, and they had provided a guarantee of 10 years to the government that if anything will happen to these roads across a period of 10 years, we will repair the road for free of cost. Surprisingly, they were never given any other contract in the future. Only because if roads don't require repairing again and again, then this tax money won't flow to these big contractors. They won't have much to do. So this could be another reason. The government and contractor nexus on it.
Yeah, the government and contractor corruption nexus, obviously. So I was telling you about this Kalka Shimla railway. So it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site declared in 2008, and there are 103 tunnels and 864 bridges, and mostly are intact. So we need to learn from Britishers that because in at that point of time, who were the labor or worker, who used to work as a labor or Indians, but who was the supervisor?
Britishers.
So do we need British supervisor now, or because
They were very skilled engineers.
these are few issues. If you are writing infrastructure, you can by am I telling you, because it's a part of GS3 infrastructure, and if you are writing about infrastructure, you can talk about these points, and even you can give example. I have told you about Shimla Kalka. Then there are a lot of buildings you can talk about. So basically. It's a corruption that is not allowing us to grow. All right. So now let's talk about PM Suman Yojana. So this PM Suman Yojana, known as Surakshit Matritva Ashwasan Yojana. I'll write it down. So it's a maternity benefit initiative launched by ministry. This is important because UPSC asked this thing. Ministry of Union Health and Family Welfare. It aims to stabilize population, ensuring optimal maternal and child health and family planning. The scheme provides affordable and quality healthcare solution to pregnant women and newborn child, which will largely help in bringing down maternal and infant mortality rates in India. What is infant mortality rate? Who is going to explain?
Sir, infant mortality rate
basically means the number of babies who die before reaching 1 year of age out of every 1,000 babies.
So you're saying that the number of death under 1 year of age per 1,000 live births in a given year, right? That's what you're saying.
Yes.
All right. So if you are writing about infant mortality rate or any issue related to health, then you can use example of this PM Suman scheme that government came up with PM Suman scheme to bring down the infant mortality rate. Okay, so in government initiative you can write this point. And what are the other schemes for women and children, Ekta?
Sir, there is for early childhood care and education is for Poshan Bhi, Padhai Bhi. There is Navchetna. Um, and I can recall this only.
There is Janni Suraksha Yojana, then Lakshya. So basically, this Lakshya is a labor room quality improvement initiative launched by Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India. Then we have got Mission Shakti. So under this Mission Shakti, what's the it has two schemes basically, Sambal and Samarth, for the safety and security of women and empowerment. Sambal focuses on safety and security of women. Samarth focuses on empowerment of women. So Sambal means it's a Hindi term, okay, and Samarth basically you are capable. So focus is on empowerment of women. And this Mission Shakti comes under the Ministry of Women and Child Development. And then we have National Girl Child Day. The Ministry of Women and Child Development celebrated National Girl Child Day on 24th of January. And this day is celebrated with a view to promote awareness about the rights of girl child, to bridge the gender divide, and to lay emphasis on the importance of girls' education, health, and nutrition. Alright, now we'll discuss now question number 33 tomorrow onwards. So many things we have already discussed, so now we can go a bit quickly. So tomorrow we'll discuss question number 33 to maybe 50, or let's see how many we can